where 12 famous people had their ashes scattered. 1. Nichelle Nichols, Space. Nichols was one of the first black women on a major TV series like Star Trek. She also helped recruit the first female and minority astronauts. This included Guion Bluford Jr., the first African American to go to space. Nichols passed away in 2022 due to heart failure. Her ashes will join Majel Barrett's and Douglas Trumbull's in space. 2. Neil Armstrong, Atlantic Ocean. The first man to walk on the moon, died in 2012. Armstrong chose to live privately, avoiding the limelight. He'd roll his eyes at the thought of a state funeral, so his family went for a private ceremony. Armstrong's ashes were scattered in the Atlantic Ocean. 3. Albert Einstein, Princeton Institute for Advanced Study. When Einstein died in 1955, he was cremated. His brain was removed beforehand for scientific study. His ashes were scattered on the grounds of Princeton. 4. Marlon Brando, Death Valley, in Tahiti. The Godfather actor passed away in 2004. His ashes were divided and placed in 2 contrasting locations. Part of his ashes were scattered in California's Death Valley. The other part found its resting place on the island of Tahiti. 5. Sigmund Freud, Ancient Greek Urn. The psychoanalysis founder was cremated in 1939 in London. His ashes were placed in a 2,400-year-old Greek urn. It was a gift from Freud's friend, Marie Bonaparte. The urn had been displayed publicly. It had to be temporarily moved when thieves tried to steal it. 6. David Bowie, Bali. Bowie lost his fight with liver cancer in 2016. As per his will, he had no funeral. Instead, his remains were transported to Bali, Indonesia. Bowie was a devoted Buddhist. His ashes were scattered in line with Buddhist rituals. 7. John Lennon, Central Park. Lennon was allegedly afraid of cremation, but Yoko Ono had the authority over his funeral arrangements. The day after Lennon's murder, his remains were cremated. Ono scattered the ashes in Central Park, near their apartment. 8. Alfred Hitchcock, Pacific Ocean. The film director died of kidney failure in 1980. His funeral was held at the Church of Good Shepherd in Beverly Hills. Then his ashes were scattered in the Pacific Ocean. 9. Stephen Hawking, Westminster Abbey's nave. Hawking died peacefully at his home in 2018. He was an atheist, but his funeral followed a traditional Anglican service. His ashes were laid to rest in the nave of Westminster Abbey. They are positioned between 2 iconic intellectuals, Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin. 10. Carrie Fisher, gigantic Prozac pill urn. The actress died after a cardiac event on a plane in 2016. Her family chose to bury her ashes in a unique container, a giant Prozac pill. The container was not purchased for this purpose. It was originally owned and cherished by Fisher herself. 11. Cary Grant, Pacific Ocean. Grant had a fatal stroke in 1986. As per his wishes, there was no funeral. His ashes were scattered in the Pacific Ocean. 12. George Harrison, Ganges and Yamuna Rivers. Like Lennon, Harrison was cremated after his 2001 passing. But unlike Lennon, his ashes found their way to India. They were scattered in the Ganges and Yamuna in Hindu tradition. The Beatles guitarist also left one final message to the world.
Everything else can wait, but the search for God cannot wait, and love one another.